Hello my friends, this is Gladys again from Gladys Garden. It's been a while I talked to you. I feel like I've been alienated. But anyways, I'm coming to talk to you about the tutorial as to how to make this beautiful, what would you call it? Part of a tile embossed canvas, I guess you can call it. This is going to be part of a larger canvas that we are going to create. So this is the one. I think it is 10 by 14, so it's a large canvas that I'm going to be working. This is one of the tiles that we're going to be using within that work, and that's going to be a tutorial too, okay? So that's part of it. But first I want to teach you about this technique of embossing with the stress into it, some cracks in it to create this illusion of being very, very old. Let me see if I can zoom in. Hopefully you'll be able to see it a little better. Anyways, all of you have seen the video already and confirmed that you wanted a tutorial, so here we go. Alright, so this is the one I did that you guys already seen. What we're going to need for this tutorial, pardon me, I used some lighter chipboard in this. I think I'm going to use a little heavier one. So this is the thickest one that I have. It's pretty thick. And it doesn't really matter the sizes that you're going to create. You can just pick and choose according to whatever project you're going to make. These are just leftovers that I had, and we're going to start by putting our UT in it. That's the other item. You're going to need a UT and a melting pot, as you can see here. And I have it on the hottest setting. You're going to need one of these embossing trays and whatever embossing powder of your preference. I'm using Cloisonné, and this one is the Lilac Haze. I like this one. I'm not a very purplish person, but this one has an iridescent to it. A lot of the Cloisonnés do, and then they're thick too, so they give you quite a variety. No other. Every time you emboss with them, you get a different pattern, and I really do like that. So you can still see it if you look at it really close. There you go. You can see a little bit of the shimmer, the iridescent. Obviously, I also use gold on top. And for that gold, I used the liquid gold. I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this product. I pretty much own all the colors on them. It is very stinky, so, has to be either in a very ventilated area. And if you're not, just get a little bit. I just use my finger because I can work with that really fast. Just enough, a little bit of it, and then I close it right back up, and I use that too. It's like rub and buff. They smell just the same. But I do like the strength on this liquid gold, because it goes really further and it has a very pretty shimmer to it. Oops, sorry. Sorry you guys, my camera went dead. Obviously I didn't pay attention to my battery there. Okay, so let's kind of recap. You need some pieces of heavy chipboard. You can use other chipboard too that is not as thick, but this one we're going to be using with something that's going to be pretty thick, and then we're going to reheat, so the chipboard kind of tends to bend a little bit, and obviously it can be glued afterwards to some harder surface and stay that way. But I'm just going to start with this heavy one. We needed a embossing tray, and then the embossing powder of your choice. In this case, I'm using Cloisonné, the Lilac Haze. Okay, so quite simply, let's move my melting pot here closer to see if there it is, it can reach in there. Okay, I think you guys can see it. Yeah, right there. So I already, preheated this, and look at the mess I made. This is easy to take. Okay. Alright, so I preheated my the UT already. It's actually burning too, but anyhow, you want to be to the point that it's completely melted, as you can see in here. If I'm not using it, just bring the temperature down, and it'll be melted in no time afterwards. And what we want to do, we could use just the Versamark and start layering and layering. That's fine too, but if you're going to be doing a bigger project, I should say start with this, okay? I use the brush, and then I start, moving along. It dries so fast, and it hardens really fast too. So just still be careful. This is very, very hot, and I try to put up quite a thick coat because we want to utilize as much of the UT or UT to create the bulk into it, other than just using your embossing powder, which is a lot more expensive. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that thickness right there. Let me move this to the side. Alright, and I'll bring that down because we don't need to have it hot. Okay, so let me see if I can show you. There it is. You can see how thick it is, right? Well, I'm still going to remelt this again so I can get rid of all these bubbles that we have in here and to have a clean surface. I've already done that, so here's the result. See how nice and shiny and glassy it is? Okay, so that's when you're going to start working in here. Alright, so let's, we're going to have to start melting this again. Let me get my, I don't think mine is connected. Give me just a second here. I should have been ready, but it's not. Pardon me. Okay, now I am. Alright, so we're going to melt it. And as we melt the different areas, because this is a larger surface, obviously I cannot melt the whole thing at once, but maybe a quarter of it or a third of it at a time. I'm going to melt it, and then I'm going to start pouring this powder. Okay, that's pretty hot. I should have had this open, but that's pretty hot still, so I'm going to do this. Okay, so if you can tell, I just pour the powder in whatever is stuck to it. That's what I'm going to use. I shake it because I really don't want to lose anything. And let's melt it. I am looking exactly for that. I hope the camera can pick this up. It's kind of a variegated color. It does lighter in some areas and darker in other ones, and then it has that shimmer of kind of a glazy thing. All right, we'll keep on doing. Some of it came out here into the plate. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to try to do a whole third of it by itself. You don't want to have it an even pattern, because you want to make it look natural. This kind of reminds me of the mineral calcification patterns that you see sometimes in the ground, rocks. I kind of like that. Okay. And then when we use this process too, it avoids you using so much of your own embossing powders, because as I mentioned before, they're really expensive. So I don't want to create my bulkets on just powders. You could. They look really cool. I do that for my other type of embossing. So ones I use for the, like the manila folder book, I did a little bit more on those. But it's just a little bit different technique on those ones. Alright. And I have the heat right on it just before touching it. Okay. 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 Let me cover this. And just because I'm kind of crazy, we're going to throw another embossing powder there. Let's do. I am going to put a little bit of the Stupendous. I'm going to do aged ivory, and it has a little bit of gold into it. I just want to play with that a little bit. I'm just going to put it directly in here because it's just so little what I'm going to use. Oh, that's gorgeous. With this one, this powder, you do have to make sure it's pretty hot so it'll kind of stick to it. You want to keep those gold nuggets into it and melt them. Okay. Let's close this powder before I spill it. Okay, so let me show you this. See if I can zoom in. Okay, see, this is the pattern I was after. Right there. And see if I can move it so you can... The light catches those gold tones right there. And I wanted that variegation. You know, oops, this is spilling a little bit here. Doesn't matter, that just actually created a pattern. And we can just, you know, bring that in and melt it. Alright, let's zoom out. Okay, so this is what we were after again, this pattern that you see in here. And now we're going to start working on our the impressions that we want to use, okay? I like to stick with something, like I've talked to you guys about my you know, wooden, oops, let me just go back in here. Wooden stamps, I like them because you can put better pressure, and I also find that they're a little better quality too, as to details. This one is by Northwoods Rubber Stamps Company, and I think yeah, I don't know if it's azalea or I don't know what kind of rose or flower this is, but this has a lot of details, as you can see in there. Lots of great details. So I thought this is one of the ones I like to use. But you know, this looks very pretty here, but it really has to do with how much carving there is. If the imprints of your of the pattern of the rubber stamp are really thin, those are not going to show up very much. I want to have something that is, you know, good impression so you can really tell what it is. Okay, so the better the stamp, for that matter, it'll become a better project. This is the other one that I used with our sample. Oops. This is the one I use here. Oops, this is backwards. Right there. So it's kind of a, it's a very big leaf, kind of a little, it kind of reminds me of the henna patterns too. I really like this stamp. So, and you know what, when you see it, it has a lot of details, but it doesn't look to be, they don't look to be very deep. And I thought, oh, that's not going to stamp really well. Well, I was quite shocked. This is what it looks like, and you guys seen this one already. And then I tried, before I did the embossing, I did just a regular stamp on this, and I don't know if you can catch this, but the details on it are just astronomical. Really, really like it. Okay, so next next is to remelt this again. And now we're going to try to melt kind of in the center, because this is going to be your center. So if you're using a huge pattern, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, meaning that you're going to have to melt a lot longer, or use a gun, that heat gun, that it's more like industrial strength. I do have one, but it's humongous and I don't want to get it out. So I'll just use this one for now. And just remember, if the pattern did not imprint correctly because it wasn't hot enough or you weren't quick enough, you can always remelt it and start it over again. And I'm liking what I see, meaning that I see the powder, or I see that the latex already moving everywhere, so that's a good thing. I know it's quite melted. And we have to be quite fast in here. And there it is. And you just want to press. And I just wait there for a little bit. Some of the enamel obviously will be pushing out, but we don't care. We just want to have that pattern. Oh wow, look at that. Can you see these details? Let's see if I can. Oh my, I do like that. And you can't see it too much right now, because obviously it's kind of a one color. So here's where the magic begins. I think I'm going to do a little bit of the green on my Inca Gold, just for this leaf right here. Remember this one, so I'll leave the pattern right here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm coloring just this leaves right here. And this one goes, let's see. Oh, there it is. There you go. And remember this Inca Gold, if you went to a place that, you know, wasn't supposed to be that color, doesn't matter, it just takes water for you to clean it again. So I always have those wet wipes in here. Now I'm going to do some white into the flower. And I have a little bit of green into my finger because I was using the green. No, not to worry. You see how it's coming really more alive now? Like for instance in here, you know, I put a little too much of a green there. I didn't want that, so I'll just go over with the white. And I have to say that this white is very, very nice. It's one of my favorite ones. I'm going to go over on the edge